Rejecting a settlement agreement may be the right call at the right time. However, be aware it could be the costliest decision you will ever make, because going to the tribunal is not a cheap affair. Here's how to tell the difference. Now you know what you're going to be getting as part of the settlement agreement, but what happens if you decide you do not want to take it? The other issue within the offer of a settlement agreement is that you will normally be given a deadline to take it or leave it, effectively. Now, a lot of people cannot negotiate a settlement straight away because it may require some negotiation or clarification of figures. But normally, if an employer wants somebody to terminate quite quickly, they will normally put a deadline on the settlement agreement. There are many occasions where I've seen the employer put a deadline on which is unreasonable, which means that they will ask the employee to sign the agreement by the close of Friday when they've only offered it to them on Tuesday or Wednesday. And that does not give them enough time to go away and obtain advice. Sometimes they will say you can go to an independent lawyer of their direction. So they will put you in touch with somebody who could be an independent lawyer. My own opinion on this is go and find your own direct access barrister to do a settlement agreement review for you, because there may be a lot of things in that agreement which may not be right and need some consultation. Deadlines are there to try and wrap things up quickly. I'm not saying deadlines are always placed the way they should be, and sometimes they are put in place to put pressure on the employee. There are risks associated if you don't take the settlement agreement. However, if you don't take a settlement agreement, not all is lost, because you still have the option of going through. Well, actually, I'm thinking it kind of could end up quite bad, really, actually, if you don't take a settlement agreement. If you don't take a settlement agreement, things could end up worse for you, because you may end up in a tribunal, or you may end up fighting a grievance, which takes absolutely months, and then the employer may make it very difficult for you. I've had examples where the employer just wants the employee gone, okay? And this is in the middle of a number of grievances that have been lodged, and the employer has done very little about those grievances. They think that by stepping in and putting a deadline may work and get rid of this employee. The problem is that the employee is not obliged to sign this settlement agreement, and by not signing the settlement agreement, you may actually later on be able to invite your employer to provide a better offer to you, because you are not going without a fight, basically, and you may want to fight it out to make sure that the employer gives you what is due. So there are positives and negatives about taking and not taking a settlement agreement, but the issue really is about a deadline. If you feel within a certain deadline you want to take it and you don't think there's going to be anything better coming around the corner, then I suggest it's worth considering. But if you know that the employer is putting pressure on you, and if you don't take the settlement agreement and things are going to get worse, then it might be worth also holding off, because then you can probably lodge a different grievance later on if things do get worse based on those facts. So there are many viewpoints on a settlement agreement, but generally from all of the settlement agreements that I've dealt with, a lot of people sign a settlement agreement because they are in fear of the employer making matters worse for them, or putting them through an actual redundancy, which may mean they don't get as much as the package that they're being offered. So they are a good tool to think about. If a settlement agreement has become a point of discussion for you, and if you are an employee or an employer, please come and talk to me in the free 15-minute sessions. You can self-book these on my website, www.thedirectaccessbarrister.com. I am Haresh Sood, and this is Pancho.